The Empower Hour series was created for all of the women out there who have done everything they were supposed to do in life and are struggling to discover what's next. I see you. You know there's so much more out there, but you just don't know how to align with what's next for you. Well, you're not going to struggle anymore. It's time for you to create your new path and fall in love with your life over and over again. See that badass woman over there who has discovered what's next for her? Let's go ask her to share how she did it and become inspired. And if she can discover what's next, so can you. Hi, everybody. My name is Suzanne Orlando. Welcome back to this amazing series. So this is a series called the EmpowHER Hour. And the whole purpose behind this series that we're starting here on YouTube is to highlight women who have taken a big step in their life. So in my work, I speak with women every single day who get to a point in their life where they've checked off all those boxes that appear when we're younger. So they went to school, they might have gone to college, they might have gone to a trade school, they stepped into a career, they maybe got married, bought the house, had the children, have been living an amazing life. But what happens, what women often tell me is they get to a point in their life where there's no more boxes that appear for them. And it's really up to them to start taking those next steps. Maybe they're at a point where they want to transition out of their career. Maybe they're at a point where they want to add something else to their life, but they just don't know how to do that. Women come to me all the time with this struggle. And what I ended up doing was I ended up looking around in various places in my life and realized that I know so many women who have done just what these women struggle with doing. So the whole purpose of this series here is to be able to have conversations, real, raw, honest conversations with these amazing, inspiring women and have them share their story here on the Empower Hour in order to connect with anybody. You never know who you're going to connect with. And this whole series is about inspiration because you have every right and ability and you deserve and are worthy of taking that next step for yourself. Even if you don't know how to do that yet, these are stories of inspiration that hopefully will help you understand how you can move forward with that. So today, my first guest, this is the first episode, is Kim Smith. Kim and I actually met through the platform Clubhouse, and I just loved her energy and I loved her connection. And we got on the phone, and she started sharing with me a little bit about her story of stepping into a new space in her life. And one of the things that Kim will get into more detail about, but one of the things that I instantly connected with her on is the phrase that she uses often, which is progress over perfection. Kim has transitioned from, she's an accountant by trade, but she also stepped into a space now where she is a coach. She is coaching women in a way that she found inspirational to her through her own journey. And I am going to go ahead and introduce Kim now and welcome her to our show. Welcome, Kim. It's so nice to have you here today.
Yes, thank you. So good to be here, Suzanne. I am so glad that we met on Clubhouse. And again, yeah, I feel the same way. We just really connected in that first conversation. And it's awesome that you're doing this to empower women because we oftentimes forget ourselves. And it's so important that we're sharing our stories to allow other women to step into their space. So I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely, and glad to have you. So Kim, just to kick us off a little bit, do you want to just give us a little bit about who you are and what you do? And then after you share that with us, maybe about where you are in, I know you have children, and then talk to us a little bit about what you started doing in your life, and then what essentially led you into the space that you're in right now.
Yeah, so Kim Smith, I am a wife. I'm a mom of 3. I am an accountant by day, but what I love doing so much is coaching people. I love helping people. So I grew up in a single family home, and I knew the only way that I would get to where I wanted to be in life, and that would be to go to college. First person in my family to go to college was to somehow get some type of scholarship. So I worked really hard at academics and sports. Sports has been an instrumental part of my life. And I was able to obtain those scholarships, both academically and through sports, to attend college. So that to me was like the first big step in my life where I stepped into a space that nobody else kind of led me to go. And And I find that when we do that, it's so empowering, right? Like it's not someone saying you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? Because I mean, I think the college thing is one of those XYZ things, but it was never an XYZ thing for my family.
That's awesome. So I love that. I love that that's kind of different from some other people's stories, right? So what was that like for your family and for you to be the first to go to college? That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think, it was huge. I think they were so proud of me. I mean, my parents, I played softball in college, and so they never missed a game if they could help it. I mean, obviously we traveled all over the country, but it was a phenomenal experience. And I think I'm a people pleaser at heart, and this gets back to that perfectionism where
Yes.
we talked about progress over perfection. That is hard to break. And I really haven't found that until recently. And I'll get to that in my story about the coaching part. But I think, my parents, they're so supportive and so proud. And so they just kind of lifted me up and encouraged me always and were there for me through it all. And then I landed a job as an accountant. And I actually met my husband on the first day of my job. He's an accountant too. And we didn't know it at the time, obviously, but it was just kind of a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am thing. And we got married. And like you said, we checked the marriage box, and then we pretty much had kids right away, pretty quickly into our marriage, I would say. Within 2 years, we had our first son. And then surprise, we were with our second son. And then we also have a girl now. So, but through all of that, I had a huge baby. So they were 10 pounds, 9 pounds, 3 ounces, and 9 pounds, all of them.
Big babies.
Yeah, I just let myself go after that. Like, being a mom and trying to work and trying to figure out how to make it all connect and still, be a wife. It was hard. And what I found was that I just didn't I cared about myself, but I didn't take the steps to put myself first where I needed to because I felt guilty about it.
Yes, that guilt is so real, right? And especially coming from someone who had such a background of, being active and playing sports and just being in that, having 3 children who are so close in age and so young and having to work full time. And, how do you find time? How do you, especially as a new mom, how do you make sense of that all without feeling like a selfish person, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that space, I mean, and it wasn't until, so my daughter's 6, right? And I started my journey 2 years ago. So she's 4 now, at the time that I start this. And what I realized was, I would sit on the couch after I put them to bed and I had no energy. And there was just something missing. Like, what am I doing here? Like, how am I going to be the best mom for my kids and the best wife to my husband if I can't even, get up really and do the thing? So, I was playing women's soccer at the time in a women's league. And so one of my teammates had started this program, this new lifestyle, and I could see her just changing physically and mentally. And I remember just telling my husband that, look, I'm going tonight and I'm going to talk to her about this. And if it sounds like something, I'm going to do it. You know what? Because it costs money for one, and it's going to cost, and it's going to take time. Like I'm going to have to do something for me here. So of course, my husband's supportive, and that's
awesome.
Important.
It is so important.
Stepping out. And I did it. Like I started this new program. I had no idea what it was going to be. I paid the money. So people always tell me, I don't want to pay money for that, or I don't want someone to have to tell me to do that. Well, you know what? Like we spend money on what we want to spend money on, and we make time for what we want to make time.
Yes.
For. And I tell everybody that because time really for me is a hard sell now that my kids are all into the things. I'm still working full time, but I just light up when I'm able to share this with other people. So sorry, I start rambling.
No, please. But I think it all aligns because I love that point, right? We make time for what is important to us, and we spend money on things that we think are important to us. And so true, it's so easy. How easy is it to go spend money on, I don't know, if you're into designer handbags, you find no qualms with dropping money, or the new iPhone that comes out or whatever. But when it comes to your own personal self, right? Self-development or getting into a healthier lifestyle, we question spending money and investing in ourselves in that way. And that is, when you break it down, it's kind of mind blowing, because that should be,
it is.
there should be less guilt surrounding that, because that's about who, if you're not working at your potential, if you're not working if you're not your healthiest self, how are you going to be there for other people, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, having that filled up cup so you can pour into others is what people say. So I did it. I signed up. That's the first step. That's what I always tell people, like, just take the first step.
Yep.
And then, like, my coach helped me. Somebody went before me. And then now in my case, I get to help people. I've gone before them. I know where you are. I know how you feel. And so it's so easy to coach people because I've been there and I've done that. So anyways, I signed up, $199. And when I look back, or if I think about that now, I would pay it again. I did pay it again. I went through another, there's 6-week groups, if you will. So I went through another one, and then I signed up to be a VIP, which is a monthly recurring thing. And then I said, I'm telling people about this program at this point. And now I'm earning some affiliate revenue. And I said, you know what? I love coaching people. I love helping people. This is for me. But then it came to the point again that, like, it's an investment. It's not just I sign up to be a coach and I get to be a coach. I have to pay a substantial amount of money to get certified to be a coach. And now it's that conversation with my supportive husband. And then I became certified, and then I was able to start pouring into other women. And through my journey, and I told you this, Suzanne, like, I lost 50 pounds.
Amazing.
I've been able to sustain that weight loss. But when I first became a coach, it was about that. Like, people want to lose weight. They want to feel good. They want to be confident, and all the things. But now what I sell people on, and it's not even selling, but what I really push to people is the mindset shift that comes along with all of that.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned is that in the beginning, I thought I had to be perfect. I thought I had to do it all right. We track our macronutrients. I thought I had to get it perfect every single day, or I couldn't show up tomorrow. But as I've continued showing up every single day, what I've learned is that, you know what, like, life happens. We have birthday parties, we have holidays, we have all of these things, and we have to make it our priority to keep ourselves at the front, even during those times.
Yep.
It's okay to eat the cake. It's okay but it was a total mindset shift where I was lacking control before, and now I have that control.
Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing. And what, even like the way that you talk about it, your face just lights up when you talk. No, it's not. I think it's unapologetically, right? Because you can tell when you're talking about it, your face just lights up. And even something as simple as, you hear it all the time when people are surrounding the what I like to call the diet culture, right? People categorize foods as, oh, it's good, or I'm going to have a cheat day, or I'm going to be bad, or but instead of that, like you're saying, shifting that mindset and focusing on your process, right? So feeling okay about celebrating and going to a birthday party and having the piece of cake, if I choose to have the piece of cake, and being okay with that, because it doesn't mean that all of my progress has gone undone because I ate a piece of cake. That's
absolutely,
and that's probably a really difficult mindset it probably takes a lot of time and progress, and to shift into that space where you don't feel that tremendous guilt, or you don't feel like you just undid everything that you worked hard for because you chose to eat something. Or you woke up one day and you were like, you know what, my body's just telling me to rest and I might not work out today. And so can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I know that one of the biggest, the phrase again, which I will repeat a million times over, is that progress over perfection, and can you talk a little bit about that and how you shifted into that space and allowed yourself to let go of that mindset and that concept?
Yeah. So you said it, it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of failing and then showing up again. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like when we don't do as good as we want to, most of the time when we're living in a diet type of situation, we just quit. Like, we don't tell anybody either, because we don't want them to know that we're doing something and then, in 5 days we're not doing it anymore.
Right.
The accountability piece and the community that we have in the Fast Way to Fat Loss is huge. There's no way that I would be where I am today without my community and my accountability partners. So that's what whenever I get to coach someone, whenever they trust me enough to let me into their lives, I am that community for them. I am so transparent in my journey, and I let my clients know that I don't have perfect days either. So it takes seeing that and seeing those people that you want to be like.
Mm-hmm.
It takes seeing that from them too. So I'm always transparent in that journey. But again, I think it's just really showing up, and knowing. And I don't know, I can't tell you that there was like a definitive time when something just clicked and it said, but you know what? I never knew how bad I felt until now, how good I feel. And that's what I tell people, because it's not just like that. And it is a journey, and it takes time. People want results tomorrow, and it just doesn't happen like that. So I continue to, just encourage people to keep showing up. And that's what I try to do for my clients too.
That's awesome. I love that whole concept to be applied in all facets of our life too, right? And with that same concept, going back a little bit to when you started this journey with yourself, because you were recognizing that I don't want to be sitting on the couch after I put my kids to bed. I want to get moving. I want to change. You were recognizing that your friend who was on your soccer team was transforming their life, and you were noticing that, and you wanted to get on that train with them. When you started transitioning though, and the light bulb went off and you said, I want to help people do this, and I want to transition into this space. How did that whole concept of, that progress over perfection, or that progress of recognizing that in order to be a coach in this space, it's not going to happen overnight. I have to, I guess, face my own fear, face my own obstacles to get through this, because I recognize what the other side looks like for me. How did you keep going? How did you, with everything that you're doing, being a mom to 3 young children, working full time, and keeping up with life, and now pouring into this coaching business? How did you, when you started to do that, how did you keep your momentum, and how did you keep your momentum, and how did you keep going through that progress? Because again, it doesn't happen overnight, right? Mm-hmm. It's something that you have to work hard at. So how did you get into that mindset shift? How did you get into that space where you knew what you wanted to do, but you actually started taking the steps towards it?
Yeah. So, whoa.
I know it's a lot.
Big, hairy, and scary. It was scary, because if I'm going to be a coach, that means I have to put myself out there. I have to put myself on social media, because deep down inside, don't tell anyone, but I'm a people pleaser. I like people to be happy. I like people to like me. And you know what? If I'm going to do this, I can't worry about that anymore. And that's been a huge adjustment for me, because wow. And social media is my main way to put information out. People see me and my friends, and they're like, you're a walking billboard for the Faster Way. And that's true. But now in a virtual environment, I don't get to see people. So wow, I don't know. I just remember in order to get my certification, I had to do a Facebook Live video. And I don't mind I love people, right? So that part is easy. I could talk to anybody all day long. But for me to get on a Facebook Live and know hundreds of people seeing me, and I don't even know who's seeing me, and I'm telling them that I've lost 50 pounds and look how fat I wasn't. But all of that in the beginning, that was hard, but I did it. Yeah. It's just taking the first step, and then the second step is a little bit easier, and the third step, and then it just builds on each other. And again, I can't tell you when it happened, but I just said, why do I care what other people think about me? Yeah. Because if I'm here and I can help one person, that's why I'm going to show up today. And if those people that don't really want to see what I'm putting out here about my journey and the transformation that I've made both physically and mentally, they can unfollow me. And that's big for me. That's big for Kim Smith. But so just starting and going, and then getting the support, my family, like I had to get my family to buy into this a little bit too, right? Because they've seen mom, my kids have seen mom one way.
Yes.
And it's not that I was like this big slump, like I've always been an athlete, right? But, and I would do things with them, but so they saw me doing it, and then they started working out with me, and they would want to work out with mommy. And so at this point, like I'm at home, now we get kids workouts in the Faster Way. And so it's all starting to just snowball a little bit in my own home, making me more comfortable to get outside my walls.
That's awesome. And you're being an inspiration to your children too, which I think is, they're watching. Kids are always watching us, right?
Always.
So even watching you and doing the at-home workouts, but even watching you transition into this new aligned space in your life, never knowing, how is it going to impact them? They might be more willing to do things they weren't able to do before, and I think that whole idea of what are people going to think? Who's going to be watching my live videos? What are people going to think? What are people going to be saying about me? What are people going to be saying about the before picture and the after picture? What if I'm not perfect? What if there's someone out there? And I think that concept of that, being the people pleaser, wanting to be that perfection. I can't do this until it's perfect. I can't do this until I know. I can't do this until and I think that's just comes from such a place of, stress and anxiety and worry. But once you're able to get past that, right, that's the biggest obstacle that I find for a lot of people, women in particular, right? We're always worried about stepping out of our comfort zone because we don't know. We're afraid of what we don't know. We don't think we know enough. We have that like imposter kind of syndrome, and we're afraid of judgment. Who's going to judge us? Who's going to think this of this? Who's going to think I'm full of shit? Who's going to think this?
Yeah.
But really, I think that's so key. So the fact that you recognize that and you didn't let that stop you, you faced it and you did it afraid. And after you did the first live, so going into the first live, feeling all of these things, right? Feeling, oh my gosh, after you stopped recording, after your first live, tell me if you can remember that moment, because that seems like a pivotal moment for you. When you ended your first live, compared the feelings that were going on inside of you after that first live versus the thoughts and the feelings that you were having before hitting record, what was the difference that you felt between those two moments?
It's almost like, when you vomit and you just feel better. I don't know, like all of this, it was like a chip off my shoulder, like just this release to say, you know what, I did it. I can do it. I can do it. But then what kept me going was that, because that people pleasing was still there at that time. So I'm only 6 months. I became a coach 6 months into my journey. So in June, I started in January of 2019. In June, I became a coach. So I'm still going through my journey. I'm still walking in that space. But that people pleasing side of me, people started commenting on that,
Okay.
encouraging me, saying, oh, this is fun. Like, what are you like in following those types of things? So that kept me going, right? Because, oh, someone's interested.
Yeah.
So, and then I just kept going. And then the first time I posted like my progress pictures, because I took a picture in just like a swimsuit bottom and a sports bra at the beginning. And then again, like, probably 6 or 7 months after I'd lost about the 50 pounds. And that was huge too. I just remember pushing click and like going, you just want to run. It's out there now. It's out there for the world to see.
Yeah.
And just the support and encouragement though from people, that's huge, because it resonated with someone.
Yeah.
Someone else is feeling that, or they see themselves like that. And if not, like now I've coached hundreds of clients. And so now they see that and they know it's okay. I'm not asking you to post your before and after pictures,
right.
But in order for me to make the biggest impact, they need to see where I was to see where I've gotten to.
That's
especially those people that I've met now, like you, Suzanne, like you know me 2 years ago.
Yep.
But that's not how I've always been.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome too. And so having that, and I like how you described it, it's like after you vomit, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think that that's very relatable to most of us, right? And that probably overthinking and, oh my gosh, like thinking it's going to be so much worse than it is. And once you did that live and stopped recording, having that relief of, oh, I did it, and the world didn't end. Nothing terrible happened. And look at the results that I got. I had people commenting and validating, and I'm through that inspiring other people. Maybe people are reaching out to me. Whether I know that people are inspired or not, somebody has been inspired, more than some somebodies. A lot of somebodies have been inspired because you decided to take something that you found to be valuable and create a new path for yourself out of that. right? And through that, it's a ripple effect. So now not only are you inspiring others to start their own fitness journeys, right? But who knows who else you're inspiring of maybe of some of those people who started their own fitness journeys with you. Maybe some of them are interested in coaching now because they're seeing their own transformation because you were brave enough to step out of your comfort zone and share your own transformation.
Yes, absolutely. I actually do. One of my clients became a coach just in January, and she was a client that, I work with her and she saw me at work, and she didn't need to lose like a bunch of weight or anything like that. But I think it was like more mental for her, gaining confidence. And she became a coach. Like, she's like, I cannot not share this with other people because of how it's transformed my life. And I'm like, this is winning. This is why I do what I do. So you say, how do I do it all? People ask me that all the time.
Yeah.
No idea. But when you're passionate about something, then you just figure it out. I don't know. Having a support system, like I said, like I couldn't do it without my husband. I couldn't do it without my community of girls that, like, sometimes I don't want to show up. Like, I'm not, there's a quote that says we're not always going to be motivated, so we must learn to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Right? So just because like I don't show up one day doesn't mean that I can't show up tomorrow. And getting that into people's heads and just, encouraging them in that is a huge step, I think.
Yeah. And I love that you just said that too, because that triggered a question that I want to ask you. So just because I don't show up every day doesn't mean that I'm not still here. It doesn't mean I'm not still present. Doesn't mean so I think a lot of women, at least that have had discussions with me about, I want to do this, but I want to do this, but how do I make the time, or how do I do everything? And I think there is that misconception that if I start doing something, I have to be on all the time. There's that hustle mentality that we hear, especially in the space of women. I'm sure it's in the space of men too, but in particular, I hear women, it's almost like the glorification of that hustle mentality that, to the point where if I want to sit down on my couch at night and binge watch a Netflix series, there's a mentality out there that that's wrong and I shouldn't be doing that if I'm an entrepreneur, that I can't ever watch Netflix because that's going to be a shameful thing for me to admit or do. But I think that, to your point, just because I'm doing something, it doesn't mean I have to have that hustle mentality. It doesn't mean I have to show up every day. Right. So was that something that you struggled with too, when you started? Were you like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this every day. I'm going to have to show up on social media. I'm going to have to do the lives. I'm going to have to post something every day. What if I just don't want to do that? Like, was that an obstacle that you felt you faced?
Not in the beginning. And it wasn't in the beginning because I was just doing it because I'm passionate about it. Not that I've lost any passion, like I've gained passion for it, but I never looked at it as a business, honestly. Like, I looked at it because I feel like my purpose in life is to serve and help others. And I don't get to do that like through my full-time job. I've coached, like I coached softball and I coach all my kids when I can, like I teach at our church. That's just what I love doing. And so that's what I was doing. And so I showed up like that. Like, I didn't show up all the time, but now as I've, evolved in my coaching and I've gotten on different platforms and I'm learning, I've gotten a little business coach and just like helping me, because now I'm like, gosh, I would love to quit my full-time accounting job and just coach and just transform people's lives. What? Like, I could get paid to do that as my job. That's my goal. And so now it is more like a business to me. And this has really just been since December. So it's super new that I've been looking at it like this. And I'll be honest, like, I do stress a little bit about showing up every day now.
Sure.
But what I know is that they're still going to be there even if I don't. I'm still going to have followers there. They're still going to be inspired when I post what I post, because I do want to show up as me. I don't want to be anyone else but me.
That's right.
And I feel like I get a lot of people that send me messages about that, Kim. Like, I really appreciate how you show up, because you just show up as you. Like, it doesn't feel fake, doesn't feel like you're selling me anything. It just feels like you're encouraging me.
Yes.
And that's all I want. So for me, it's a little bit of a balance of trying to find the passion and then like making it a business, if you will.
Absolutely. And I love how your first thought is not, this is a business, this is a business. It's, this is my passion and this is what I love doing. And I love showing up for people and I love connecting with people. And I hear through everything that you're saying, I hear also that foundational relationship and connection that you have to people it sounds so key. And people see that. It sounds like, when you post things or when you do live videos, I always say to people, and some look at me like I'm nuts when I do this, but I say to people, I feel like you can tell if somebody's being authentic, even if it's a written post, even if it's on a website, there's something about that energy that you can definitely read that. And I know that there's been moments where that idea of hustle mentality or that idea of I need to show up all the time, where I've started creating a post and I was forcing it. And I was like, this, I'm just doing this to do it. And I pulled away from it. I've also had moments where I didn't pull away from it and I put it out there and I'm like, oh, that's not me. And you feel that, right? And you can tell. So the fact that you're meeting your business authentically because it's your passion and you're showing up as that passionate person who really found value in what you did for your own transformation. And now you're sharing that and your story with other people. That is incredible, because again, I feel like there are so many people out there who want to start their own business, but all of these obstacles get in their way. So the fact that you're here and you're sharing, I'm doing this the way that I'm doing it. I'm being me. I am not being a copy of something. I am not posting, I'm not posting generic information. I'm posting things that are inspiring to me. They're my own words. They're my own voice. And if I don't feel it, I'm not doing it. And it sounds like people connect with that. People want to connect with people. I'm sure through what you're doing, there are other people out there doing what you're doing, but nobody's doing it the way you're doing it because you are unique to who you are.
There's a lot of some other people. And so that imposter syndrome, I think there's about 2,000 coaches in our company. And, a lot of them follow me and I follow a lot of them. But the amazing thing is, like, I'm super competitive, right? Like I just am competitive. I've always been like that. And it has not diminished as I've gotten to be an adult. But in our company, it really is community over competition. Like I have a text string with like 5 other coaches, and we literally talk every day, and we talk about how we can share things and how we can do this together or whatever it is, because when we're empowering other women and we're, lifting them up, like it just comes back to us. So there's no reason for me to be competitive with them because their client is not my client.
Right.
We have different, we just have different, what am I trying to say? Like our clientele are different, or the people that are seeing our posts and what I'm putting, it's different.
Completely. And why not? If you're going to put something out there, or you're going to run a training or do something like that, and somebody's doing the identical training, why not merge your networks? So everyone can share the information, and it's such a beautiful thing when we align versus when we feel like we need to be in that competitive space, for sure.
Yes, definitely. That's been helpful for me, certainly.
That's great. So Kim, as our listeners are hearing your story and what you do, and I'm sure some of them are like, I wonder how, I could get started with that. How can somebody find you? What's the best way for people to reach you? And we're certainly going to drop links here as well, but just if people are listening, and are not able to write anything down and just want to hear, where can people find you? What's the best place to reach you? And you can share as many as you need to.
Yeah. So, on Instagram, I'm coach.kim.smith.
Okay.
And I have Facebook as well. So it is called Faster Way with Kim Smith is my business page. And you can find a link to my website as well, which is fasterwaycoach.com. And then it's there's a hashtag Kim Smith. So you probably put that one in the links, but that's the best way to find me, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. And then if you had to, I guess, share your top, and I know it's always hard to just share one, but if you have one like top top thought or word of inspiration, it could be more than one, for anybody who's listening, who's in that position where they're like, they want to step into a new space, but they're just feeling stuck? What is something that you can share with them? What are some words you can share with them that helped you?
So I would say, and this is so cliche, but I want to say something afterward, but we literally get one life to live. And as I have gotten older, I'm only 38, so I talk like I'm, old, but your perspective changes on things. You see people passing away, you see, tragedy in your friends and family, you see, global pandemics with the virus. And what I would say is that why not? Like, why not just go for it? Because you never know what opportunities. It's like, there's also another saying, and I'm all about quotes and
me too
for inspiration, but like the magic happens outside our comfort zone. When we're staying inside our comfort zone, we are not growing, we are not learning, we are not inspiring anybody. And so when we can step outside of that space and find this space, like the road less traveled, we get to pave the path. And I guarantee you, when you start paving your path for something that you're passionate about, just like me, people are going to follow you.
Yes. I love it. And I don't think it's cheesy at all. I'm all about the quotes, and I don't think it's cliche, because I think the reason why we all know those quotes are because they're so important, right? And they're things that we should listen to. And I love what you said. I love that whole concept, right? Why are you waiting? Because you don't know what's around the corner for you. And if there's something that's lighting you up, go for it, figure it out, and find a way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, I can't ignore, I don't know about you, Suzanne, like I know you love what you do, and I can tell that you're passionate about empowering women and putting people, but like, I can't ignore it.
No.
I wake up and I'm thinking about it. I am staying up all hours of the night, like, because I can't ignore it. So how don't ignore it, I guess. So it's there for a reason. So go get it done.
Absolutely. And when things keep coming to us and things keep showing up in our space, whether they're innately showing up, whether they're literal, like things that we see on TV or in the people that we meet, there's a reason why, right? Because somebody's trying to knock us on the head and say, hey, listen, this is you got to do something with this. So yes, I love this. I love this conversation, and I appreciate you, Kim. I'm so grateful that we met. And I love that you were open enough to come on here and share your story. And I know that it definitely had a ripple effect and will inspire other people. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being my first guest on the EmpowHER Hour show. And if anybody wants to connect with Kim, we're dropping the links here on the YouTube channel. So definitely go ahead and connect with her, reach out to her, give her a message. I'm sure she would love to hear from you. And if you guys are in a position, as we're talking about, and there's something that you're lit up and you want to do, but you don't know how to get started, you can certainly also jump on a free clarity call with me. I do have a program within my programs called the What's Next Project, and it's all about taking you through a step-by-step process so you can discover what's next for you, and you can step into your place of passion and purpose, similar to what Kim did on her own. And don't forget, guys, that just because you've done everything that you're supposed to do does not mean that you've done everything you're meant to do. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.